From the heart of Dubai, where tomorrow is being built today, to the world. Welcome to the CTO Show with Mehmet. Here, we redefine technology and reimagine possibilities. With Mehmet, delve into the riveting realms of AI, cybersecurity, and digital technology. Experience the thrilling highs and lows of startups. Immerse yourself in the spirit of entrepreneurship and witness the future of business innovation being written in real time. Now, without further ado, let's tune in and explore the future.
Hello and welcome back to a new episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. Today I'm very pleased. Joining me, Roshan Shah. Roshan, thank you very much for being on the show. The way I love to do it is I like to keep it to my guests to tell us a little bit about themselves and about their experience and what they are up to. So the floor is yours, Roshan.
Thank you, Mehmet. Nice to be here. And sure, happy to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm right outside New York City, in northern New Jersey. Professionally speaking, I've got a few different businesses. One is in commercial real estate brokerage. The other is I have my own real estate investment firm. The third is we own a substantial medical aesthetics and wellness company. And then the fourth is our Bitcoin mining and blockchain development company called Decimal Digital Currency.
Great. And again, thank you very much, Roshan, for being with me today here in this episode. So you cover a lot of things and you do a lot of things, but today I want to go over with a couple of the expertise that you have. So you mentioned about decimal digital currency. So what inspired you actually for starting the company, and what gap you saw in the market at that time that you said we need to do something different from what the others are doing?
Yeah, it's amazing. I was fortunate to meet my partner, Henry. It was just a pure coincidence. He's in the insurance business. I happened to have an insurance requirement that he was assisting me with. And as I got to know him very quickly, early on in our relationship, I learned that he had built a small Ethereum mining operation at his personal residence. And so I went over to his home. I checked it out. He had converted the first floor and garage of his home into an Ethereum data center, essentially. And I introduced him to a couple close friends and family members of mine that were early entrants into the crypto industry. And I had them vet him as well as his business, and everything checked out. And when I got to learn about the economics and how lucrative of a business it was, as well as where I think I see the future of money going, just given inflation and global monetary currency and policy issues, I said this is an industry that I need to get into, and so we joined forces and started scaling the business pretty rapidly. When you're mining Ethereum at $10 per ETH, and selling it for a few $100s, it's the math is pretty easy that this is a business to focus on. So that's really how I got started in the industry.
That's cool. Now, you mentioned about some specific setups. So I know you use something called S21 machines. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty, as someone who comes from the technical background, to understand more about, what's that different from the typical miners that we might see somewhere else? And is there any strategy that was behind that?
Yeah, it's essentially all of these machines are application specific. They're all used for Bitcoin mining. What's unique and different about the S21 is just its power consumption and computing power and the overall efficiency of both of those factors. So with the S21, you are able to produce Bitcoin more efficiently, essentially utilizing a lot less power to produce your Bitcoin. So for us, while we likely could have we could have received a higher return on our investment for buying less expensive machines. For example, I think a lot of industry players were going out and still are buying machines like S19J Pro, Brit Pro Pluses, and otherwise machines of that kind of generation and ilk. We were not too focused on return of investment in terms of yield, and we're more focused on our downside protection. Everything that we do at Decimal, risk mitigation and downside protection comes before overall return.
So the risk mitigation, is it like related only, Roshan, to the energy part, or like is there like some other challenges related to that you focus on?
Well, when based on where the Bitcoin mining industry are going, right now we're looking at an all-time high for network hash rate difficulty. Now, I think just based on where hash rate price has gone, and hovering it at or near an all-time low, you're going to see a significant decrease. We think a significant decrease, probably to start maybe only 5% drop during the next reset. But I think through the month of April, we may see that go down as far as 15%. And so for us, when network difficulty hash rate is at an all-time high, the S21 is able to withstand a lot of that competition, whereas some of the other machines, based on now post halving, they may need to drop off the network based on the cost it takes for them to produce one Bitcoin.
I see. Now, I know also, Roshan, like you're planning, or there's maybe ongoing expansions going on. So I'm curious to know about these expansions. Like, are they into new markets? Like, are you expanding in other cryptos? What's the plan for the expansion, or maybe use cases?
Yeah, so we have dabbled quite a bit into mining other coins. It's something that we've more so done as personal side projects, not necessarily within this vehicle. But Decimal's focus is at this point entirely on Bitcoin, and our expansion, yes, it is into new markets geographically. We're continuously looking to expand, and as part of the next phase of Decimal's growth and how we plan to, again, further mitigate risk and increase our valuation, it's really moving out of this hosted model. By hosted, I mean utilizing third-party providers for rack space, and instead going out and vertically integrating and acquiring our own sites or developing our own sites, either directly or through joint venture partnerships. So we no longer want to be at the mercy of these third-party hosting providers and encountering that counterparty risk. Instead, we want to control our own destiny, control these sites on our own outright, and not have to worry about other people performing and having our success be tied to their performance.
I got you. So also, I know, Roshan, and maybe I will need from you a little bit in a very simple way to explain what that means. I know personally, but maybe that's just for the audience. I know that you're focusing on SMA, or what's called separately managed accounts. So is there a reason for this? And of course, like if you can tell us about the difference between SMA and the other types of accounts also.
Yeah, so we think that there is a reason, and a lot of people, friends and family, have come to me over the years as they've learned about my passion and my focus and interest in Bitcoin mining, and they've said to me, why not just go out and buy Bitcoin, or why would I invest in Decimal when I can just go out and buy through the public equities markets? I can just go out and buy stock in Riot or Hut 8 or Marathon or CleanSpark. And for us, I wouldn't call it guilty, but I certainly was one of those people that has been buying Bitcoin forever. And when you're going out today, I don't know, I think Bitcoin's hovering around maybe 63 or 64,000. You can go out and you can go out and buy Bitcoin on Coinbase or whatever exchange, and just hold it. Now, for a lot of people, the concept of buying Bitcoin at 63 and 64 and then watching it crater down to, as it did last week, 55, that's pretty unnerving. And a lot of folks don't even want to be sitting on a paper loss or experience that level of volatility. When you are investing in mining, for example, with Decimal, our cost of production pre-halving, and I can't tell you exactly where it is today, was roughly 18,000 per Bitcoin. So that's a pretty massive buffer and cushion for, and so with what, to answer your question specifically, the separate managed account, we believe we don't know anything like it. We don't know of any other competitors of ours that are offering this service, but that's exactly what it is. We're offering Bitcoin mining as a service to really anybody. So now you're not having to go out and buy public equities, buy stock in a publicly traded miner and have very little visibility into the inner workings of those companies, and continually have to deal with getting diluted, as these companies are always raising more capital, or dealing with their massive overhead. So we think that a more pure and higher return value to an investor is to invest in our separate managed account offering. So I'll describe to you what it is, just very simplistic.
Sure.
Essentially, let's just say, Mehmet, you wanted to get exposure to Bitcoin mining, but you're not sure how, or you just want to get exposure to Bitcoin, or you're looking for a great tax depreciation play, or you don't care about Bitcoin, you just want an excellent cash flow yield product. Well, you come to us, we go out, we buy Bitcoin mining machines on your behalf. Our cost of our purchasing power is tremendous, just given the volume of machines we're buying. So we're going out, we're buying machines on your behalf. They sit on your books. You own them outright. You'll have the serial numbers. We'll then take those machines, we'll get them racked, energized, and turned on at one of our sites, one of our data centers across the country. And then we handle each and every aspect of the mining business for you. So we're handling all of the firmware optimization. We're doing all of the maintenance and overseeing the cooling and risk management and power hedging, the liquidations and treasury functions for those machines. And each week we roughly each week we sell Bitcoin, and at the end of the month we take whatever Bitcoin we've accumulated for you, we pay the power bill, and then we have a profit sharing arrangement. So I can't think of anybody else who's offering this as a service to consumers, to the masses. So essentially anybody now has the ability to go out and mine Bitcoin without having to, instead of going out onto Coinbase and buying it.
So Roshan, if I get it right, and just again, I'm asking on behalf of the audience, because someone might see an entry, or like, let's say they want to put their hands on some crypto investment. So the other way is to go with the newly established ETFs that, they are crypto ETFs. But what I understood from you actually here, you de-risk the volatility factor here, because actually what you get is, you're mining actually, you're of course with a pool of people that are using also the service. So can we say like it's a more, I would say, less risky than going with the ETFs?
We think so, and you're paying less in fees. I mean, for me, to invest in an ETF, a Bitcoin ETF, makes 0 sense. I don't know why somebody would go out and pay those fees just to buy. But you don't need BlackRock and Fidelity to hold your Bitcoin for you, or to go out and buy Bitcoin for you. I think a lot of people who are maybe not as savvy with how, what it takes to buy Bitcoin and those sort of on ramps would just say, all right, for ease of access and perhaps maybe security, we'll just go to the ETF. But for sure, I wholeheartedly agree with you that to do what we're doing or to invest in what we're doing is a less risky proposition. Think about the fact that, if Bitcoin's going down, you're taking a loss, even in those ETFs. For us, even through the depths of the worst crypto bear market and crypto winter of all time that we've come out of now, we were making money every single day. When Bitcoin went from 69,000 to 15,000, we were still making money every single day.
Yeah, makes sense, because actually, again, you're not trading the crypto itself. Actually, you're getting what usually people, when they do the mining, do. So you get the compensation of being part of the mining process. So makes a lot of sense to me. I know, Roshan, like also you have an extensive background and experience in real estate. So do you see in any way the two industries intersecting or benefiting each other's?
Well, to answer your second question first, I do think that you are going to see real benefits in real estate come through just blockchain. Now I'm departing for a moment away from mining.
Sure.
Just talking about tokenization of assets, also things like basically vastly improving the efficiency of something basic as real estate insurance or even title, and bringing that all onto the blockchain. That you're going to see huge innovation across the real estate industry. But talking about my track record and experience with real estate and how that helps me, and any potential crossovers with mining, absolutely. I mean, a lot of what I'm doing is structuring deals for data centers, either through developing them or acquiring them or joint venture partnerships. So a lot of the real estate deal making expertise that I've harnessed and developed over the years, absolutely, it comes into play pretty much every day.
Yeah. So coming back to to the space of what you do today. Now, other technology you can see it combined with what you already currently doing today, like that can really take you to kind of a next level. So is there like any innovations that you're seeing coming in the near future, or cutting edge technologies that can be adopted so it would take Decimal, to just a completely new level?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. It's something that I think a lot about. Unfortunately, I'm not smart enough from a technical standpoint to have the right answer for what sort of technological innovation can set us apart. But one of the things, which is an obvious one, is how do we utilize, for example, artificial intelligence to improve our overall efficiency, lower our cost of production, and boost our returns. And that's something we haven't yet figured out. My partner, who's brilliant and is a savant, it's something that he's toying around with, but I don't know that for Decimal itself, our boost in returns and what sets us apart is going to come from technology so much as it is through very clever financial maneuvering. What he's been focused on largely is trading hash rate derivatives, buying hash rate, doing all sorts of options trading with and the returns have been enormous. I want to say approaching 200% in under a year through those activities. And so those are all activities that he has done kind of beta testing personally on the side. And now that it's been proven out, his investment thesis has been proven out. The thought is to start layering it into Decimal so that our investors can start benefiting from it. Of course, we would give them that option to allow us to start making some of these trades and financial moves on their behalf.
Got you, Roshan. Now, I know you sit on a lot of, companies' global advisory board. And I'm curious about, because still till now, when you mention the crypto and both as mining as well as trading, the currencies themselves, we see still a lot of people kind of, little bit, I would say, hesitant. I mean, in getting this to invest that. Are you seeing, a shift in these companies? Not necessarily that you sit on their board, but I mean, the adoption and the acceptance for the cryptos in general. Have it been progressing? Is it still the same? People still resist. They say, no, this is not real, this is very volatile. Because, I covered cryptos a lot of times here, and of course, everyone can have their own views on that. But as someone who's in the, in the market, and you have skin in the game, as they say, because also you have the background of investment. So how are you seeing, not only the companies, what I'm interested, Roshan, to understand, private equities, limited partners, these kinds of folks, how is their view currently on this market?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think that one of the things, or two things that have happened recently in 2024, maybe late with the groundwork obviously being laid earlier. When you have the largest asset management companies in the world, like Fidelity and BlackRock entering into Bitcoin, now Morgan Stanley on the way, and the billions of dollars of inflows, that's instant credibility and validation to the public and to the masses. And so still to this day, it's remarkable. I would tell you, it's funny. The majority of not necessarily my family, but the majority of my friends still have no clue what I do. They still think it's idiotic that I'm in Bitcoin mining. They still believe that Bitcoin is a scam and that it's going to zero. And that makes me so happy. It makes me so thrilled to be part of this industry, because most of the people just don't get it. And it just, to me, reinforces the fact that we're still very early. There was a lot of people, a lot of naysayers talking about the fact that the internet was a fad and would never last.
Right.
And to me, it's a great feeling. It keeps me going, and I'm super bullish. But I think as there is more education, as there is more regulation, which we embrace within reason, I think it'll only make people more comfortable with entering into the market. And just generationally, right? My kids use TikTok and Snapchat. I've never once opened those apps. Similarly, my parents, the generation, they're not opening Coinbase accounts. So I think the fact that this next generation, like my children, their children, for them to go out and purchase items with using crypto and using digital money and crypto payments for services and goods, that's going to be commonplace. Right now, we think it's crazy. Right now, most people know how to do it, but it is the future. It is going to happen. I have no doubt about it. And right now, BlackRock is out there. They're educating sovereigns. They're educating pensions. All of these players are still on the sidelines, but they're coming. This money is going to be entering into the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Absolutely. Just fun fact about the mining. I remember one of my friends told me about his friend that I don't know, that he was mining Bitcoin, and that was I think 2014, 2015. So where really you can get the coin easy, right? Even on a normal machine. And then once, I think he mined around maybe 5 or 6 Bitcoins at that time. And then he said, "Oh, I think I'm stupid. Why I'm doing this?" And then he formatted the computer, and he said, "Oh my God! Like if I knew like this will reach even." And that I remember, when we had the story, it was still 2017 or 18, where it was hitting the 15K and 20K. Like imagine at that time. So, and to your point, around about the new generation, just this morning, my daughter asked me again this, a question that actually it's related to cryptocurrency in a somehow, because she asked why when you need to pay something by debit or credit, or you do a transfer for money, it takes times, and it needs sometimes approval, why it doesn't have instantly. And the new generation expectation is that, to your point, like they open something, they just swipe up, it's swipe down, they see something new. So their expectation, they need something fast. And actually, this is what cryptocurrency, one of the things that promises as technology, from the blockchain perspective, that you do it without any frictions. So absolutely. Now, I want also to ask you, Roshan, because you lead Hamilton Road Capital strategy. And you've managed diverse portfolio, including real estate, VC investments. So how do you usually balance between these different investment strategies? And, have you found, for example, any synergies that works perfectly in your investment, I would say, criteria?
For me, the synergies are really my network, the network of investors that I have developed over the years, through my various investment endeavors. And when you do right by people, when you build goodwill and engender trust, people are going to follow you into other projects. And so whether it's been a real estate deal or a private equity investment that I've put together, anything that I've brought investors into, they've made money. And so that's really the common thread there. With Hamilton Road Capital, the primary focus is on real estate investments. We're doing student housing, we're doing multifamily, we're doing self-storage. These deals are great, and they're stable, and they're well, they perform well. But it's a slow burn, with the exception of some land development deals that we're doing right now that are potentially quicker exits, flips, so to speak. Most of these projects that I'm working on, these are 3, 4, 5-year holds.
I got you. Now,
Like, so example with our, when you look at our SMA product, historically speaking, we're averaging roughly 3.5, little over 3.5% per month in returns. Some months have gone as high as 8% per month.
Wow.
In real estate investments, you're not getting those sorts of returns.
Yeah, absolutely. How is your view on I know like you're more focused on real estate, but like from the VC investments perspective, what's your current view on the market for 2024?
For venture capital investments?
Yes.
I'm not so focused. I've done a lot of direct investments. I think for venture capital, it requires you to establish a pretty large portfolio. There's inevitably, if you're doing 10 investments in or less, let's just say you're doing 5 investments. Unfortunately, what I found is that a few of those deals are going to zero, and it really is going to be, if you're lucky, one that you're getting exponential returns on that counterbalances the ones that you've done that have gone to zero. So for me, I'm kind of taking a step back, unless it's extremely compelling, or I've got a close, long-standing personal relationship or professional relationship with the founding team. I'm taking a step back from doing any sort of direct VC investments.
Got you. I still have 2 questions for you, Roshan. So your journey, like it's really, really impressive, but I'm sure like any other, I would say entrepreneur, founder, there must be some pivotal moments that shaped your path also as an entrepreneur. So can you share like some of these pivotal moments?
Yeah, the biggest pivotal moment for me, it was COVID. And uh, I would say I did not do a great job in advance of COVID diversifying my overall portfolio. I was way too conservative on the real estate investment side. I did not build the real estate portfolio that I should have and certainly could have passed on too many deals. And when COVID hit and I realized that I was spending much of my time on commercial real estate brokerage, which provides no stability, it's a very much an eat what you kill business. I realized that I wasn't making money while I slept, nor did I have a diversified revenue stream. So that to me was a real wake up call and kind of forced me into diversifying my overall portfolio. And so today, with the Bitcoin mining, it's a fantastic business. It's a cash flowing business. The healthcare company that we have acquired a substantial stake in is highly profitable and something that we plan to sell and have a liquidity event from within the next 2 years. The real estate investment business is something that's longer term, but also much more stable than anything that I've been doing. And then commercial real estate brokerage, I still love it. I think I'm pretty good at it. I love the hunt and chase. And when you close a big deal, it's a great feeling. But I'm no longer entirely reliant on that. And the pivotal moment for me was really COVID when people stopped going to the offices, when people were no longer going out and signing office leases. The entire business essentially shut down for about a year.
I think, probably COVID was the biggest lesson for a lot of us, not to rely on a single, source of income or even like one project, even, and pushed people to diversify, which I think it's one of the positive facts that happened after COVID. Of course, like all of us, we hated being locked at home and not being able to go out and seeing, our friends and family. But, I see it from the positive perspective. It pushed a lot of people to think again in this way, which is great. Like you did that also, Roshan, yourself. Now,
yeah, and it's not as though, I didn't realize through all the time I spent in the industry that I needed to diversify or that I wasn't building anything generational that I could pass down. You're not building a legacy and some, assets that you can pass down to your children, or true real wealth in commercial real estate brokerage. But there certainly was a level of comfort and complacency to some extent that I had just having done well in that business. But that all changed. That all changed during COVID, and it really forced me into action. So,
and which is, I think it was great. And I always like to hear, these stories, Roshan, because, it shows also resiliency. It shows also like you're willing to try something different, which is because, as I was telling you before, even we start today's episodes, like, the reason I focus on entrepreneurship is, and I say always, you need to have this mindset. And when we say mindset, it's not like the general term. No, like you need to be able to pivot. You need to be able to change directions if things force you to do. And this brings me to the last question I want to ask you today, Roshan.
Just one point there is that in addition to pivot, you have to be able to step out of your comfort zone and take risk. And for me, I was extremely risk averse. And that changed. I have made substantial cash investments into crypto, into real estate, into healthcare, and they're going to pay off. But I can tell you that if you're not willing to take that leap and take the risk, you're never going to hit it big.
Absolutely. And this is why I wanted to ask you, like, if you want to keep us today and the audience with a final advice, whether someone is on the verge to start a project in any field, maybe it's real estate, maybe it's investment, maybe it's a tech project, a startup, what do you tell them?
Um, for me, honestly, it's all the first thing for me is the team. It is all about the team, and it is two things. One, you need to be able to trust your team implicitly. That's the for me that in anything that I do, I don't care how, I'll tell you, there was two real estate deals that were fantastic opportunities on paper. All the modeling, um, and everything that I was looking at, it screamed to be a great deal. But I just could not get comfortable in both those instances with the sponsor, with the real estate team. And there was something about the vibe that I was getting from them that I passed. And so I think having that intuition and trusting your gut is important. So trust is the first thing. And then two is when you're building the team, it's about building a team that complements your skill sets, right? Like for me, I don't consider myself to be particularly sophisticated with financials, with financial modeling and accounting. So in my businesses, I've got a rock star, a guy who's brilliant with math, with finance. You don't have to be good at everything, but it's important to recognize and to have the self-awareness to know what you're not good at, and then build a team that can compensate for those, potential deficiencies.
Absolutely, and thank you very much, Roshan, for sharing, this advice with us. So, where we can find more about Decimal, and of course, if someone want to get in touch with you.
Yeah, I mean, they can email us. It would be info@decimalgroup.io, or it can email me, which is Roshan, Roshan @decimalgroup.io. We do have a website that's undergoing a complete revamp, so welcome to visit it, but it's not going to have the latest and greatest. And would always welcome people to reach out, and the team and I are always happy to share information and educate people. We love networking in this industry and meeting folks who are equally passionate and interested about learning and exploring new ideas.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Roshan. Just the links you mentioned, they will be in the show notes. So for people who want to get in touch, again, great insights from you today. And I think it's also enlightening from the perspective of how things can be done different, when it comes to investment in this cryptocurrency domain, and especially what you do it in a different way with the mining thing. So great insights from you, Roshan. Thank you very much for sharing your experience also as well with us. And as usual, this is what I tell my audience at the end of each episode. If you just discovered this episode and this podcast by luck, thank you for passing by. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, please subscribe. We are available on all podcasting platforms, and share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you are one of the loyal followers who keep coming back, sending me their notes, sending me their suggestions, thank you very much, and keep supporting us. And if you are interested to be on the show, you know how to reach me. I'm available on mainly all social media platforms, but mainly on LinkedIn. So get in touch with me. We can discuss if you're interested to be on the show, and we can make it happen. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll meet again very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hit that subscribe button, share the show with your tech-savvy friends and fellow entrepreneurs, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Your support means the world to us.